of their intent. This is not a casual social media post about an event or a light-hearted announcement. This is a message that should convey respect, gratitude, and solemnity. 7 hours passed before anyone in their team seemed to notice, and even then, no immediate correction was issued. One cannot help but ask, if they cannot attend to such a basic detail, how can the public be expected to believe that they genuinely value and honour those who have served? Body. The context makes the blunder all the more glaring. Veterans are a group whose contributions, sacrifices, and hardships are profound, enduring, and deserving of meticulous acknowledgement. They represent commitment, courage, and a lifetime of dedication to protecting others, often at immense personal cost. Misspelling the very term that identifies them in a post designed to honour their service is not just a typographical error. It reads as a lack of genuine engagement, a slip that undermines the credibility of the institution's message. In an era when public statements are instantly scrutinised, this is more than carelessness. It is symbolic of a broader pattern of perfunctory gestures, where words are deployed for appearance's sake, while real attention to meaning and execution is absent. This mistake is particularly striking when viewed against the tireless work that Prince Harry has undertaken for veterans over the past several years. Harry has not only lent his name to initiatives, but has personally immersed himself in programs that support former servicemen and women. From hands-on engagement with charities to attending events and creating initiatives designed to improve the lives of veterans, his commitment has been tangible, consistent, and deeply personal. These actions are far removed from the sterile, error-prone social media posts put out by Kensington Palace. Prince Harry's work demonstrates a clear understanding of what true support entails: sustained attention, practical involvement, and heartfelt recognition of service. In contrast, the palace's blunder suggests a form of performative concern, where the optics of appearing respectful outweigh the actual execution of meaningful recognition. The contrast between Harry's authentic engagement and the palace's sloppy post could not be more stark. Prince Harry's advocacy is rooted in years of direct experience and personal initiative. He understands the challenges veterans face, the gaps in public support, and the importance of genuine acknowledgement. By contrast, the palace's tweet reads as a hollow statement, undermined by an almost comical inability to spell the very word central to the tribute. The mistake may be small on the surface, but symbolically it is enormous. How can an institution convey respect when it fails at the most basic level of care in communication? This is a failure of attention, a failure of seriousness, and a failure to grasp the essence of what it means to honour those who have served. Moreover, this incident exposes a deeper issue regarding the palace's approach to public relations and ceremonial gestures. The emphasis appears to be on posting statements that give the impression of concern rather than engaging with the substance of the issues at hand. A respectful post about veterans should be drafted with precision, proofread for errors, and imbued with sincerity. It should reflect an understanding that the audience, both the veterans themselves and the public at large, will interpret every detail as a reflection of the institution's credibility and respect. By failing to correct their spelling mistake for hours, Kensington Palace effectively sent a message of negligence, suggesting that their attention to detail, and by extension their respect for veterans, is secondary to the act of posting itself. The implications extend beyond simple reputation damage. In a world dominated by social media, every word, image, and gesture is subject to scrutiny. Audiences are quick to notice discrepancies between stated values and actual execution, particularly when it comes to figures and institutions that claim to represent moral or societal ideals. A single typographical error in a solemn message can resonate far beyond its apparent triviality, becoming a symbol of detachment, carelessness, or even condescension. The palace, in this instance, has inadvertently undermined its own message, highlighting the gap between intent and execution. This failure contrasts sharply with the consistent, action-driven approach of Prince Harry, whose work with veterans is tangible, trackable, and universally acknowledged as meaningful. It is worth noting that the palace is not a small operation. With over 60 staff members responsible for communication, events, and public representation, it would be reasonable to expect an error of this nature to be caught and corrected swiftly. That it went uncorrected for 7 hours, and in the public eye, suggests either a lack of procedural oversight or a troubling indifference to accuracy. Either scenario is deeply concerning when the subject matter involves honouring individuals whose sacrifices are profound and irreplaceable. Accuracy is not merely a matter of professionalism. In this context, it is a matter of respect. Every misplaced letter or misspelled word has the potential to convey disregard, and that is precisely the perception that the palace's tweet has generated. Prince Harry's sustained dedication to veterans makes the palace's misstep even more glaring. He has consistently taken initiative, often stepping in where institutional support is insufficient or absent. His engagement goes beyond ceremonial appearances. It includes direct interaction with veterans, advocacy for mental health support, and involvement in charitable efforts that address real needs. In comparison, the palace's actions appear performative, reactive, and lacking in meaningful follow-through. Their inability to ensure the correctness of a single word in a tribute highlights this gap between superficial gestures and substantive involvement. The lesson is clear. Claiming respect is easy, but demonstrating it through attention, care, and action is what truly matters. This episode also underscores a broader tension in public perception between symbolic gestures and authentic engagement. For an institution tasked with representing the monarchy and its values, there is an expectation of competence, precision, and sincerity. Every public statement is not just a reflection of the staff behind it, but of the institution as a whole. Misspellings, oversights, or errors in solemn communications do more than embarrass. They erode trust, reduce credibility, and call into question the authenticity of the claimed values. The palace's misspelling of veterans is emblematic of a wider pattern in which appearances are prioritized over substance, where the act of posting is valued more than the impact of the content itself. In stark contrast, Prince Harry's engagement with veterans demonstrates a model of true commitment. His efforts are sustained, deeply personal, and focused on real-world impact. He does not rely solely on statements. He delivers outcomes, builds initiatives, and fosters ongoing support systems. The palace's error, by comparison, serves as a reminder that performative gestures can never substitute for meaningful action. In a landscape where public attention is heightened and scrutiny is constant, sincerity is measured not by words, but by deeds. And in this measure, Prince Harry clearly leads, while the palace falters. Ultimately, the misspelling of veterans is a small but potent illustration of a broader issue. When institutions prioritize optics over action, they risk appearing disengaged, careless, and out of touch. A single letter may seem minor, but it is emblematic of deeper failings in attention, execution, and genuine respect. For those who have dedicated their lives to service, these small errors carry outsized weight, reflecting a misalignment between stated values and actual care. Prince Harry's tireless work serves as a benchmark for what genuine support should look like, making the palace's mistake all the more glaring. This is not merely about a typo, it is about credibility, respect, and the substance behind public statements. Kensington Palace, with its extensive resources and personnel, should be capable of delivering messages that reflect both accuracy and sincerity. That they cannot or have not calls into question their commitment to the very causes they claim to honour. Meanwhile, Prince Harry's example demonstrates that true support is grounded in action, attention, and care. Until the palace can match that level of commitment, every post risks being perceived as shallow, careless, and ultimately unconvincing. In conclusion, the misspelling of veterans by Kensington Palace is a striking illustration of performative concern gone awry. It is not merely a minor error, it is a reflection of a systemic approach that values the appearance of respect over its authentic execution. 7 hours of inaction only amplifies the perception of negligence. Prince Harry's sustained hands-on support for veterans highlights the stark contrast between authentic engagement and symbolic gestures. In an age where public perception is both swift and unforgiving, this error is more than a typo. It is a cautionary tale of attention and care. Until the palace can match that level of commitment, every post risks being perceived as shallow, careless, and ultimately unconvincing. In conclusion, the misspelling of veterans by Kensington Palace is a striking illustration of performative concern gone awry. It is not merely a minor error, it is a reflection of a systemic approach that values the appearance of respect over its authentic execution. 7 hours of inaction only amplifies the perception of negligence. Prince Harry's sustained hands-on support for veterans highlights the stark contrast between authentic engagement and symbolic gestures. In an age where public perception is both swift and unforgiving, this error is more than a typo. It is a cautionary tale of how easily credibility can be undermined when care, attention, and genuine respect are absent.